56-year-old Israel Alves has been arrested and charged with fatally shooting his ex-girlfriend, 42-year-old Hope Pearson. The incident occurred at 1:17 a.m. on the 22nd of August in the lobby of an apartment building located at 165 Rockaway Parkway in Brooklyn, New York, when the authorities received reports of shots fired. When officers arrived at the scene, they found Hope unresponsive on the floor with multiple gunshot wounds to her body. She was rushed to a Brookdale hospital, where she was pronounced dead. The authorities reviewed video surveillance from the lobby, allegedly showing Israel shooting Hope 6 times, and was arrested the following day. The authorities said that Israel was living down the street from Hope. He confessed to killing her after she threatened to put him into jail for violating her order of protection against him. Police said Israel, who was paroled in March after serving 5 years for robbery, had been the subject of a number of domestic violence complaints filed by Hope, including one shortly after he was released from prison in which she said he choked her. On the 25th of July, just weeks prior to her death, Hope accused Israel of pulling a knife on her at his apartment, which they were sharing at the time. She told the authorities that she got into an argument because she wouldn't share her drugs. When he came at her with a knife, another roommate intervened, telling her that she should call the cops. When she returned a few hours later, all her clothes were spread out in the lobby. On the 30th of July, the police charged him with menacing, harassment and criminal possession of a weapon, all misdemeanors. He was released without bail in that case. He told the investigators that he met Hope in the street. He said, "I knew she was trouble. I should have listened to my daughter. I dated her only about a month." Israel's been charged with murder. On the 24th of August, a judge ordered Israel to be held without bond. If convicted, he faces life in prison. Israel previously served several years in prison for weapons possession, with a conditional release in 1995, and 4 years for another robbery conviction, with a conditional release in 1989. Friends and family of Hope described her as a loving person who didn't bother anyone. Hope's aunt, 82-year-old Sharon Staten, said that her troubled niece was a decent person at heart and not someone who would inspire such a violent end. She said she suffered from mental health issues, and she also had an extended history as a domestic violence victim. She wasn't mean, she wasn't vicious, she was a struggling woman trying to make a life, she said. It boggles the mind. On the 22nd of August, 43-year-old Almelic Keller from Long Island, New York, was sentenced to 25 years in prison for brutally assaulting his wife last year. He was found guilty of first-degree assault, second-degree aggravated criminal contempt, and resisting arrest. The incident occurred on the 17th of September 2021, when Almelic was seen punching, kicking, and stomping on his wife, and throwing glass bottles and cans at her head at a smoke shop where the incident was captured on security camera. Bystanders at the store helped the woman into the rear driver's side of her vehicle after the attack. Almelic was in the driver's side when his wife was helped in. He got out of the vehicle and slammed the door on his wife's leg, before driving away with her in the car. The woman suffered multiple injuries, including a black eye and 2 lacerations to her scalp that required stitches. She also had a broken leg and underwent 2 surgeries to install 2 permanent steel plates on both sides of her left leg. Later that same night, Almelic was arrested after trying to escape on foot after fighting with an officer when cops approached his vehicle. His wife was in the back seat covered in blood and screaming. The police were able to subdue Almelic with a taser and took him into custody. After sentencing, District Attorney Raymond Tierney said, "Justice has been served, and this should send a message that domestic violence cannot and will not be tolerated in Suffolk County. Hope today's sentencing gives the victim a sense of closure and security in knowing that the defendant can no longer cause harm to her or anyone else." 40-year-old Sean Rose has been charged with murdering married couple Stephen and Amina Schultz, both 51 years old. The double homicide came to light when their daughter Alicia Schultz went to check up on her parents at around 5 p.m. on the 18th of August at the home located at 12,913 Shady Glen Avenue Southeast in Alala, Washington. Alicia was in contact with her father the day before, but when she tried to reach her parents, neither of them responded to her. She noticed their cars were still at their property. She used the key to get inside the home, and when she entered the master bedroom, she found forced entry into the premises with broken glass from one of the doors and the other with blood on it. There was no sign of her parents, and there were blood trails throughout the house. so she backed away from the property and contacted 911. When officers arrived, they found blood on the deck outside the master bedroom, before finding what appeared to be a body in a garbage can near the deck of the home. Deputies searched the garbage can and uncovered the bodies of Stephen and Mina, both who were shot to death. Investigators noticed several drawers were pulled out in the master bedroom, and several items were missing, including a handgun and a wallet. During the investigation, detectives learned that a man named Sean Rose lived in an RV in a neighbour's property with his girlfriend Danielle. Detectives questioned Danielle. He said that on the 18th of August she left for work at around 12:30 am, and Sean asked her for a ride, but got out of the car at the end of the street on Shady Glen Avenue southeast. Neighbours reported hearing gunshots at around 2:30 am that morning. Danielle told detectives that Sean again asked for a ride at around 3:30 am, but she said no. A witness told investigators they saw Sean going into the RV and leaving in a hurry. Detectives found bloody clothing and a cell phone on a trunk in front of the RV, and when Danielle got home, she said the cell phone belonged to Sean. According to police, Sean had been driving a Toyota Prius that had been reported stolen at 8 am on the 18th of August. It was later impounded and found to contain identification and credit cards belonging to Mina and Stephen. There was also a receipt from a fast food transaction that used Mina's credit card. Detectives were able to obtain surveillance video from the restaurant, which showed Sean making the transaction that day. At around 8 p.m. on the 21st of August, a woman who was with Sean called 911 to report he was in the car with her. She told police her location. He was arrested at a gas station in Tacoma, and he was taken into custody. He was charged with 2 counts of murder, and he's held without bail. Sean has a criminal history that includes car theft, drug use and burglary. He failed to show up to a court hearing early this month related to stealing guns. The investigation into the matter continues,